Welcome back to Mike Sands. Today, we're going to be rubbing on a slingshot. All right. Let me show you what I'm working with, and we'll move on from there. I've already kind of sort of got a start as I got to brainstorming, but I decided this might come together pretty cool, so I would stop and film the rest. Let me show you where we're at so far. Those of you who follow the channel know that I really am into end grain, and I don't like to waste much as far as woods go. I get most of these through trades and things. Some of them I do buy off of eBay in the form of forks or logs or whatever. So I have this offcut. This is from a fork. That's the midrib right there. That is locust. Here's the other half of that offcut. These are all locust wheels here. Locust, plum, more locust, more locust. Lots of apple. There's an oak, red oak. Mulberry. Some plum over here. More red oak. Osage. Right? So I've got this cut out, and this itself is super strong. I could band this up and shoot this without worry right now. So I cut this out, and then I cut these to sort of kind of fit each other. And I figure if I take a bunch of those and sandwich them on like this, glue them down with some good epoxy. This does fit pretty snug. Right, glue them on with some good epoxy and then start stacking these. I should be able to come up with something that's an entirely like end grain slingshot, which I think will be pretty neat. So I've certainly got enough rounds to pull this off. And I'm thinking apple here and then locust there with a locust core, so it's good and strong. Fill in all the little cracks and voids with some sort of bright fill, either epoxy or super glue mixed with probably sidewalk chalk powder. And then glue it all together, round it out, and see what we get. I think it might have the potential to be pretty excellent for being a scrap pile slingshot. And as you can see, my scrap pile is looking pretty legit right now, so it's time for me to start making some scrappies. I will be cleaning this up and adding to the scrap pile slingshot collection as well as the firebox. So, yeah. I'll see you as I get back to this. Coming along. Here we are so far. locust core, applewood, applewood, locust, applewood, applewood. Matching set on the other side. I'm going to glue this down like that, kind of laminate all those on there nicely, and then once that's good and dry, I will flip it, laminate all those down, good and dry. As you can see, it fits relatively tight, but a little bit of crack isn't going to hurt. Remember that, kids, a little bit of crack never hurts. Nah, it gives you something to fill with sidewalk chalk, add a few more interesting colors and stuff. So this is going to look slick when it's all put together if it all holds up well. I have a lot of faith in this core. Locust is extremely, extremely dense and extremely, extremely hard. So I'm going to get to gluing, and I will show you the next step when the next step's time has come. Okay. Got all our pieces glued to our core there. And the epoxy's had time to dry. I will be unhooking this. So I'll be taking my clamps off, and next step is a bandsaw. There we are. Looks kind of Mickey Mouse-ish from this angle. All glued up. Let's cut her out. Okay, so something that I learned, it's really hard to cut the radius parts of this when you don't have an open end. Like, I can't see where to cut this without making any big holes in it, so I'm not sure. I think maybe I'll just lay my template on it and try and get it lined up and sketch the template on there and then do my best. But yeah, that took way longer to get to this point than it would otherwise. Template, roughly. We'll see how that gets me. That's where we're at so far. There's still a ton to remove, but I just can't see enough to get a real close cut. That just means we're going to spend a lot of time on the sander. It'll look all right. These joints are a lot tighter down at the base here. I don't know if you can see that, but the joint tightens up quite a bit down there. So we'll see what we get. Yeah, who knows? This is an experiment. We'll see what we do. I didn't spend a whole bunch of time making everything nice and tight and precise. We'll see how she goes. Coming along, looking pretty all right. We're gonna do a butt cap here, and we're gonna cut the forks off here. Because I don't like my forks that long, but it's rock solid in the hand and that'll shoot. Do something creative with the cracks and voids. See you in a sec. Yeah, here we go. Clean up my lens a touch. Here we are, Slingshot. We're gonna put a butt cap on here. That's easy peasy. As you can see, as we got closer to the core, our cracks have tightened up, but they're still not completely gone. This side's got a good one right here. That's just weak work on my part, but we'll fill her in, make it look good. Anyway, it's coming along. It's gonna be a Slingshot for sure, be a shooter. Gonna trim these off. I always make these a little bit long so that I've got a little bit of room to play with as far as symmetry goes, and then I'll chop them off once I get to about this stage. And butt cap, those are the next steps. Here we go. Yep, all right, so for those of you who are not aware, all of my Slingshots are 4 inches across. That's my preferred width. So I measure 4 inches across, right? I made my template 4 1/4 so that I can lose a 1/4 inch. But I'm gonna cut that much off on the bandsaw. As you can see, there's some unevenness in the glue up there. That'll bring us down to even. It'll shorten these up so it's a much more comfortable hold. And it will take out a little bit of the widest part of this crack. So all bonuses. Yeah, and then I think the next step after that is going to be filling these cracks, and I will show you how I do that. I'm just going to zip these off on the bandsaw. I don't think you need to see that footage. Like, imagine me going like this, through a bandsaw. Bastard. Sidewalk chalk. As you can see, I started a little bit ago, but I got plenty now. I'm just gonna mix in super glue with this and kind of massage it together with my fingers until I get a heavy paste, and then I'm gonna smear it in these cracks. I picked blue for its contrast value with the kind of reddish brown of the apple and the yellowish green of the locust. Nearly there. As you can see, it's not like a real precise application method. I'm just smearing it over everything, and I'll sand it off later. Shout out to Moan Waller, one of my inspirations in the slingshot making world. He's got some super cool stuff going on. There's a bunch of guys killing it though. There's so many cool, innovative slingshot makers. I'm just trying to keep up and do my piece. Show people that it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do it. You don't got to be a mathematician. You don't got to be an incredible woodworker. Just slap some stuff together and make it a slingshot shape. Put bands on it and go kill bunnies. So here's where we're at right now. We got the tips trimmed off. As you can see, they're nice and flush. We got our cracks being filled in with this super glue and chalk mixture that is rapidly drying. And now at this point, I'm just experimenting with butt caps. I know in my last video, I called the pieces that I put here as butt caps. That's palm swells. My apologies, inaccurate terminology. Anyway, so I'm thinking of putting this on there. This is a piece of mulberry. It'll kind of keep my pattern going. But I also have this little piece of locust, and then I got kind of this behemoth piece of locust that I may just glue on there and cut down. We'll see how it goes. You'll see in a second. The decision has been made. This is going here. That's our butt cap. And then once that's all glued up, shaped up nicely, I will, round it out, make an interesting butt cap shape out of it, finished in the handle. And then after that, it's another episode of Mike Sands. Stay tuned. There we are, glued up. That'll get shaped out a little more, round it up. I didn't draw that out or design it at all. I just kind of started cutting. See what we get. Nice thing about a butt cap is if you don't like it, you just cut it off and start over with it. It's easy. I heap it on there, as you can see. There's a ton of blue here, a ton of blue here. We're just gonna give it a couple of quick. This one is gonna be real quick because I don't wanna remove too much wood and change the handle. I like how this is shaped right now. That feels real good in the hand. But I do want to take plenty off of here. I'm gonna round this out some. And then I might put another set of swells on here too, depending on how this goes, because like a little bit fuller grip. But we'll just play with it as we go. I'm quite pleased with my work. That's going to be a stunner. For a harebrained experiment, that is going to look really, really good. Really good. That'll all sand out nice. I got like just a couple more little teeny voids to fill. Blue sidewalk chalk's easy to apply, but man, is that gonna look good. Let's get to sanding. The usual process. We go 100, 120, 150, 180. I spend a lot of time in the hundreds range just to clean things up. In my opinion, that's where the majority of your sanding needs to be done. After I get done with 180, I'll hit it with 220. Then I'll put in band grooves, I'll get it wet, I'll let it dry, I'll hit it with 220 again. Then I will hit it with 300. This has some incredible grain, so guaranteed it's gonna get the 320. And then I'll get it wet and I'll let it dry. And that'll raise the grain up again. And then I'll hit it with 320 again, at which point it'll get super glue. And then I'll buff that down using probably 400 to begin with, and followed by 1,000. And maybe some rouge if it needs to be real shiny, and then I'll hit it with clear gloss spray paint. So that's our procession. Here's where we're at so far. I just did a little bit of file work to knock down all the deep grooves. Now I've got 100 grit, and I will begin sanding now. See you in an hour. Here we are. That's done with 150. It's coming along real nice. That's where we're at. Let it dry up and give it another round of 220. And then 320 and super glue. There's a look at the finished piece. Came out really nice. Really nice. There's the core, black locust. These brown end grained cookies are applewood. This and this are both locust as well. Sidewalk chalk and super glue in between each of these cracks. I don't know if you can tell, there's a little bit in there, a little bit in there, a little bit in there, some in there, some in there. I intentionally put these gaps in there so that I could get some highlight. Really beautiful piece. Really pleased with the way that came out. Pretty cool. See how she shoots. That's pretty cool. Shoots just fine. Welcome to the end of the program. If you made it this far, you're clearly a Slingshot nerd. Congratulations. Welcome to the addiction. Like, comment, subscribe, and share with like-minded individuals. Here's one final look at the finished product. A beautiful, beautiful Frankenstein frame, all coming out of the scrap bin. That's apple and locust, laminated up in kind of a mosaic pattern. This is natural latex, 0.7, 25-20 taper, shooting 11mm steel. And shout out to Catapult Carnage for inspiration on the closing scene here. The lighter shot with the fire behind it and the big explosion. I straight up stole that off of your channel. So thank you. If you're not already, if you're watching my videos, you know about Catapult Carnage. Let's be real. See you on the next one.